Hello, I'm Heath Poland, Captain of Urban Security Agents. Um, this is handcuffing procedures, how to. Um, but before we dive into it, I want to show a couple of examples of the cases that we carry, uh, the keys that we carry, which one set is from the cuffs that you get anyway. So you have that, as well as sorry, um, as well as um, a key that I personally carry, and I recommend anybody that carries handcuffs to carry this particular key on them at all times if they're carrying cuffs. If you don't keep a set of keys on you, don't carry. Um, if you are in a uniform, I recommend the key, one of the other keys, which I'll get to that here in just a second. Um, Here's one of the cases I carry every day. It's a leather case. It's really sturdy. It holds the handcuffs in there real well. Um, I like the open carry style much better in this fashion of how I'm dressed right now versus this style, the duty rig style. So it's got a belt loop on the backside for your duty belt, um, but this is also Velcro. So to me, this seems like it would be a little more easier to get your cuffs if you're in a struggle versus what I carry on the backside, um, in and out. Um, but that's one style. Now keys. I keep a key ring of all the handcuff keys, at least, you know, two sets of on me at all time. I carry a backpack that's got extra set of cuffs. It's got other things that I need for the company in the backpack. Uh, I don't really carry a briefcase or anything. It's too much, to be honest with you. The backpack's even too much, even sometimes. But anyway, so this is your standard key right here. Um, this comes with the handcuffs. Like I said earlier, we carry the hinged style cuffs. These keys come with these cuffs. Um, this is your standard handcuff key. It's got the backside, so you can double lock on it. That's what that point is for. And then obviously your cuff key. Um, this is the other key that I was telling you about. It's the what I would call a pin key. I clip it inside my vest. That way, if I need to get to it quickly, I have it right there instead of trying to dig for keys or something like that. It also has the same mechanism on the back, the double lock key. This adjusts, if you will, to whatever you need. I don't adjust it much because it's perfect in my vest as I carry it. Um, like I said, we carry the hinged. Um, I'll get into that in just a second of why we carry this more so than anything else. Now, if you can't see it on here, but on some of my cuffs, we use graphite, a spray can graphite to basically lube your handcuffs. It also keeps all the mechanisms freely moving. It's what I've used for years to lube handcuffs is graphite. Um, also said to set your cuffs. If you notice on the back side, they're sticking out just a little bit on both sides. Okay, that is setting the cuff, so it's easy, like I said, for it to release and to relatch if you need it in a quickness. Um, I also said that I counted them earlier. Between 19 and 20 is a good set. This would be around the 20 mark. This would be around the 19 mark. Okay. Um, Either or's good, but it also depends on what kind of case you carry. You can carry it at the 20 in the duty case that I showed you. I carry 19 on this one. They don't fit quite as well if you do it the other way. Like I said, the double lock, your key, your setting. Um, Now, something that you're gonna have to practice is putting this in your cuff cases or however you carry. That I'm right-handed, but I carry on my left side. This way, if I still need to reach anything else, for instance, my firearm or anything else with my right hand, it is free to do so. I would grab them, I'd drop them down, and then I would make sure that when I grab them, that this side, your single side, not your double, your single side, is facing whomever I'm fixing to cuff. Okay. This way, it's much easier to control these as you're cuffing someone. Um, and the chain will pinch you. That's another reason why we don't carry a chain. The chain will pinch your hand. And the last thing you want to be is struggle with somebody and getting your shit pinched. I grip my cuffs in a fashion. Just wrap my thumb around it. I was just so like I'm gonna carry a bag. I grip them like this. As I go to cuff, I make some adjustments. This way, everything works freely and properly. Obviously, my hands cover both sides, so you don't want your hands getting in there. I can tell you from prior experience, getting your hand caught in this hurts like hell. So again, train, train, train. Um, Train on how you carry it. That way, when you open them up, they're ready to go. As I said earlier, you want your key sides to face upward towards the sky when you're finished cuffing. Okay. Now they're going to be in a position differently when their hands are up or out or whatever the case may be. But when you're the final product is the key sides need to be upward. This way, and we'll show you in just a second, they can't manipulate their wrist or hands to pick the locks if it's the other way. Facing it down, their hands are down here. Facing it up, obviously, unless you are just an extreme alien or ambidextrous as fuck, you're not going to reach these keyholes, okay? It's another reason why we carry the hinge. That way they can't manipulate their hands to do those sorts of things as well. Um, all right, well, let's get into it. My lovely wife is going to help me show y'all. Um, we're going to do one of two styles. I don't have the room to do the prone position and adjust my phone or my phone to show y'all that. Um, but I am going to have her do the standing head. I'm going to interlock. Um, and then I'll be able to show a little easier how the interlock works as she's kneeling. Um, I mean, not that we're really tall people, we're not. Um, but just how the camera's placed, it's a little more difficult to see the top of the head in such fashion. Um, my lovely wife is also one of the owners of the company, so she knows everything that we're fixing to go through. She knows everything I'm fixing to do to her outside of complete combat. Okay, so we're not going to get into that. That's not tonight. This is the basics. This is the follow up of the definitions and the procedures. Okay, so the very basics of handcuffing is what I'm doing right now. Um, anyway, sorry. So we're going to get into the basics of this. I do apologize for that squirrel moment. Um, but as I said, uh, some maintenance, graphite. That's what I use. If you need to have like a cardboard or do it on something, you can throw it away because the spray is actually messy. I lost the little pinpoint tube to go with it, so when I sprayed my cuffs down to lube them up, it's a mess. I think I even got it on my carpet, but and if you do, that is a pain in the ass to get out of. So at a table, a workbench, something that you're not going to mess up, something your wife's not going to holler at you about for messing up her carpet.
Dawn works just fine for that. Don't let him lie to you.
Dawn works then. Um, Even still, I probably wouldn't do it over carpet, okay? Especially if you have a lighter toned carpet. If you have black or gray, probably mix in just perfect. Um, That's what we use graphite and to use for our cuffs. Um, Again, I'm going to go over it again. Practice, train with keeping your keyholes up as the finished product. Where you bring them out, make sure that you're ready to go with them, just like your weapon, or your asp, or your taser, or your mace, or whatever it is that you use. You want to train with it, but you definitely want to train with this because you never know. You may get that one handcuff on and the fight is on. I've been in a few of those situations where I got one cuff on said person, and we were in a boxing match right afterward. So make sure you practice and train. Um, it sounds redundant, but do it in a mirror 1,000 times. It's just like weapons, your asp or anything else that you're going to use on your duty belt. Okay. Um, so let's get into it. Um, Again, she's going to come in and demonstrate how we do this properly. I'm going to leave these out. This is the set I'm going to use. I'm not going to use my case. Um, I've already had these out all day long, but it's very simple. Does not take a rocket scientist. What it does take is, again, training. Okay. Come on this side. All right. So she's going to interlock her hands. I'm not going to go through the entire thing, verbal judo or nothing like that tonight. Again, this is basic procedures. So she's going to interlock her hands on top of her head. Turn sideways. Right about there. As you can tell, slightly. Again, we're going to have her kneel in just a second. But you have them interlock their hands on top of their head. You can bring your hands up, squeeze their hand. That way they
Hey,
can't
that's my hair.
grab hair. I didn't mean to do that to her, but you do want to grab hair. That's also a form of control while you're doing this. So grab hair, grab hand, do whatever you need to maintain the much control as you possibly can. Okay, but you want to squeeze. I'm not going to squeeze her at all tonight, but that's the reason why. But you squeeze, okay? So like I said, I'm right-handed, so we're going to finish this up with right and left. Okay. Um, Biggest point I want to bring up is if you carry a firearm, always, always, always keep it away from the person you're dealing with. Something you can't see. Here we go. I would have her interlock her legs in such a fashion, and I've got some pretty big boots on. She has no shoes on, so I'm not going to do it. But what I would normally do in this situation is come up and damn near try to put my foot to their knees in a very hard shove. This way they can't unlock their legs, okay? But I'm not going to do that. As you can tell, I've got boots. She has no shoes. So I grab them. This side towards the person you're dealing with. The other side, do not use it. This will break a wrist. Clamping down too hard will break a wrist. So please, do not slam it on anybody. That's not the point of this. Again, you got to maintain control of your emotions, your adrenaline, and yourself when you're doing these things so you don't get into a lawsuit or a civil suit, okay? Left hand, reach up, grab, squeeze. Gentle push. That's all you need. It went straight around. Switch. Come down. Gentle push. That's all you need. Now she is cuffed. Okay? Now, I want to show y'all. I can put my pinky in here. Okay? Both sides. At her wrist point. Not at her palm. At her wrist point. I can put a pinky. I'm not having to force it. I can move my pinky around in this. That is a comfortable position. That is a safe position for whomever you're dealing with. And I did not do that right either.
You're doing nothing but showing your butt to the camera.
That's all right. Some people like to see some booty. Maybe not my booty, but some booty. So as you saw, I did this wrong. I am human. So keep that in mind as well. Okay. Again, you want your key sides facing the top, not at the bottom like I did. If you do, that's the position that you end up in, is the one you saw. You really don't want to show your ass figuratively or, not speaking. So, key side up. I'm going to do it again. Now, this can be maintained in either direction, left or right. It depends on what hand you are. Okay? So, if you prefer this position with their hands, I don't. I prefer it the other way. Back of the hands to the back of the hands. Now, I didn't lock it down very tight on her because, again, just example showing, okay? Here we go. Sorry. This way the keyholes are on top. Come over here and bring this over here to show y'all. If y'all can see it, the keyholes are on top. I'm not a good cameraman. Y'all have to forgive me. Okay. So once you get cuffs on and you check the distance in between the wrist and the cuff, take your key, lock them down. These go towards the person. Okay. Now this enables this to lock. This way they can't pinch the wrist. They can't. That didn't lock. I wonder why.
Probably already in a lock position.
Oh, I missed it. So that happens too. This is another reason why you double check this stuff. Always, always, always. So now it's locked. It's not going to be able to move anymore. Now, if you notice, if I give her a key in this position, if the keyholes were down, she would be able to manipulate it. Okay? She cannot do that with this stuff on top. That's the reason why you want to do this shit on top. All right, man.
I was gonna get it. You know I can.
I switched it. You're not going to get on top.
Do you want to bet?
So this is one of the reasons why you want on top. Double lock it so it don't break the wrist. Cinch down on them on either side. Another reason why we do this, the hinged handcuffs, is in this position, whether their hands are facing this way or the other way. If you need to maintain control, a slight turn of this handcuff, either way, you heard that, gives you that control, okay? That way if they get to fighting in the cuffs, you still maintain that kind of control over them. Another reason why we carry the hinge is because it's a solid handle. You can maintain control over the handcuffs themselves. Now, we're going to get into other things later on how to, pick a person up off the ground, how to maintain control if you were going to walk this person. Obviously, this is not a real situation, but I'm also showing you. I would come to the side, okay? Hook it up and just kind of lift up. So this way their shoulder raises. Granted, you can't really see that. That's okay. Another way, again, try very, very hard to keep your gun side away, okay? If you're not left-handed, you've got to practice, you've got to train to do all this shit left-handed, okay? So the one way is this way, okay? Like you're going to chauffeur them down the aisle. The other way is this way, okay? Your elbow is now the control point, okay? Your handcuffs are still that control point. If you don't want to get that close to them, you can still kind of stand arm's length away and walk them if need be. And then again, use the pressure point of bending the cuff to maintain control, okay?
You're going to have to get these off.
I'm working on it right now. Remember, if you use your double lock, you've got to twist one direction and then the other to unlock them, okay? Shit. Living hell tonight. You can physically feel. Oh, nope, yeah. You can physically feel in these. Thank you, baby. I appreciate it. I'm sorry about hurting you. You can physically feel in these. When you twist one way, it unlocks the double lock. Then you twist the other way, and it unlocks the cuff itself. So keep all this stuff in mind. You saw me mess up. You saw my butt. Those things happen. Okay, even in the heat of the moment, those things still happen, but that's why we train. This wasn't necessarily a training video. It's just to put on hit on points that I was discussing in the earlier video about handcuffs. So, again, you want to keep your keyholes to the sky. If you use this style of cuff, grab it real good and firm like. You don't want to slam this shit down on anybody. It will break a wrist. If you forget and you do this the other way, you're liable for a lot of shit that's going to happen. We don't want that. That's not the point of this. The point of this is just like carrying an asp, mace, taser, stun gun, firearm, is you have to be responsible and accountable for all of the actions that you do. Okay, with every piece of equipment that you use on your duty belt, all of it. Excuse me, goodness. So again, recap: keys to the sky. Do not slam this down on anybody. Train to where you pull these out and they're ready to go. Okay. Um, like my cuffs in the back, they're ready for that. Just drop them down. I can reach up and they're ready to go. Okay. If you have to take that extra second and flip them around, then make sure you flip them around. That when you do whatever you're doing, that the keyholes are setting up. But you need to make sure you notice these things prior to doing anything. That's why I said in the prior video, set them. First of all, set them in your case, your carry case, whatever it is. Okay, now on my vest, I have a case and then I have a button that I strap another set to. Um, but practice with that. Practice making sure that when you are done, your keyholes are to the sky. Um, Practice setting your cuffs. That way they're ready to go at any point in given time. That way you're not fumble fucking these in the middle of whatever, in the heat of things. Everything that you do, you need to train on because it could save your life in the end. Okay. Um, I know it may sound and seem minute when you're at home doing this, practicing with your wife, training with your buddies, whatever the case may be. Um, but in the heat of the moment, all of these little points and things matter. Again, I'm training and telling you these things from training that I've gone through personally and myself, and then experiences that I've had out on the streets having to do this. Okay, so keep that in mind. Keyholes up, don't slam it. Set them in your case. That way, when you retrieve them, they're already ready to go. Once you get them in there, set them again. Pinky at the wrist point. Okay, double lock it. Double lock your cuffs. Um, and you need to practice all of these things: the cuffing, the keeping it up, how you hold it, double locking. Make sure you do it each and every time during training, during practicing, whatever the case may be. Now, do not do this shit on yourself, especially with this style of cuff. We ran into an incident shortly after we opened. Um, my brother in law put a set on with the keyholes together, and over the course of a few days, it did some damage to his wrist. Okay, so please don't be like that. Do not be like that. Do not practice on yourself. If you need to know the exertion that you're putting on it, then do that. But make sure that you can reach and get to your keyholes because you don't want to look like the asshole going to the police department, fire department, whomever, and to have them cut off or taken off of yourself. It's very embarrassing. I don't like to be embarrassed, even though it, humbles. Um, so, but you can practice on yourself, but just one side. It gives you the tells you the amount of pressure you need to use to get this to release and recatch. Um, if you're practicing on your wife, please don't be an asshole and hurt her. If you were in training, now this is what I say about training with a buddy. If you partnered up with a female in training, it's a different story. There's a difference of practicing and training. And my difference is this: when you practice, you're just trying to familiarize yourself with your equipment. whether it's your handcuffs, whether it's your asp, whether it's your mace, whatever it is you carry. That's what practicing is to me. When you train, you're training as if your life depended on it. You're training as if it was a real life situation. That's what training is to me. Okay, a lot of people get practicing and training, I think, confused, especially in this line of work. But when you train, then yes, you definitely want to train like your life is depending on it, like you're in that fight. Um, so keep that in mind. I hope you guys learned something from this, even though it was, again, I'm not the best video guy on earth. I can set this up, stand here, and do this all day long. But if I've got to move it around and whatnot, I suck at it. But I hope you guys learned something. I hope you train. I hope you familiarize yourselves with your equipment. And I hope you keep it in working condition. Um, Lube it up. I think we lube ours. We don't, I mean, to be honest with you, we try not to put anybody in handcuffs. But I try to go through our personal cuffs about every 6 months and lube them up, clean them up, make sure they're all in work condition, all 8 sets. Um, that being said, I try to do that with my firearm on a monthly basis, at the very least. Uh, Same thing with my magazine holders or any of the equipment. I try to keep upkept. That way, when it is in the heat of the moment, you're not fumble fucking everything like I am my words at the moment. You're not fumble fucking everything. You're ready to go. Your equipment's good and crisp. Um, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One, you don't want to look like a fat slob in a uniform. It doesn't matter about your weight, okay? You just don't want to look slobbish. You don't want to look like you just come off the street homeless. You want to look sharp and crisp. And part of that is your equipment, okay? If it's in working order, you don't have to rely on backup. The local area takes between 4 minutes and 5 minutes for PD to show up. So you may be in a fight of your life for 4 to 5 minutes. If your equipment is not good, it's going to cost you, and it may cost you your life. And I don't want to see that from anyone. I want everybody to be able to come home at the end of their shift, at the end of the night, whatever the case may be able to hug the wife, be able to hug their kids, be able to go to Christmas dinners. Christmas is right around the corner. Why I mentioned it. The whole purpose of all of this is so you can be able to do that. Okay. So again, train, familiarize, practice, train some more. Get to the point where you can do the stuff with your eyes closed. Okay. Um, Please like, share, subscribe. Do it on Facebook as well. We're also on TikTok. Go there. Um, y'all have a good one.